then, viewers, welcome back to an episode of Glory Hunter, and something a little bit, I'd say different, because we've done it before now. It's a podcasty episode. Yes, I know you quite enjoy these, so here we are. Forgive me for not having a blue border around me. Hopefully the blue lights will suffice, as, we're back again for another episode of Glory Hunter, and I've had a really long weekend of streamer showdown goodness, and I thought what the best thing to do would be is to do 3 matches today. Yeah, that's right, 3 matches. Bit of a bumper episode for you, as we've got 3 relatively big games in a row. Lyon, Montpellier, and Paris Saint-Germain. Now, we've just had a transfer window as well, so we'll talk you through that. And you can see the French Cup has been going pretty good. Guingamp were beaten in extra time, not ideal. And this side here, Evia Sportif Beziers were beaten as well. So 4-2 win against them, which seems like it's not particularly good. Emmanuel got a hat-trick though, so we'll take that. A 1-1 against Brest, not ideal. And Angers recently, a 4-1 victory. Really good performance in that one. So in terms of the league, of course, that's what we're going to focus on first. We are 48 points. We are 5 points behind Paris Saint-Germain, who have lost 3 games. Like, Paris Saint-Germain have had a really strong start to the season, but recently a loss to Vafsi, draw to Rennes in January, and they stumbled a little bit. Now, I mentioned these transfers. Let's go through what we've done since we last met. It's not been massive, I'll put it that way. There's been a few little bits and pieces here and there. Zivkovic has left us. He's gone out on loan to Brest of all teams, and we've brought in Paco Ortiz for £22 million. It's a lot to spend on what is essentially a backup striker, but could come good for us in the next couple of seasons, and I'm hoping he does just that. Some really nice attributes for the particular role that we play, of course, and he's basically just the replacement for Zivkovic. It's got a bit of potential. I know what you're going to say. Why are you buying potential at this point, Ben? Why are you spending that amount of money? We needed someone, and this I felt was probably the best player to bring in that was available to us. Our balance right now, still 70 million to spend, so the plan of spending it all in January hasn't gone through. We'll talk through why in a minute, and our balance right now, nearly 50 million, is still pretty strong and should stay firmly in the black the further we get towards the end of the season. I'm hoping, at least. Europa League football will help with that, I hope as well. So, as mentioned, here we are then, podcast episode, 3 games to bring you today. We won't waste too much time. We'll get into the Lyon game. I did ask on Twitter for questions. Of course, follow me at DoctorBenjy if you don't already. For some questions throughout this episode as well, because it's podcasty, because there's 3 matches. It's probably going on for a little while. There will be a little bit of downtime, especially in between games, because it takes a little while to process through. As before we do that, though, let's focus then on this first game. Okay, we have to win, really. Lyon a few points behind us, 3 points, in fact, knowing that if they beat us today, there's a good chance they'll go ahead of us, depending on how the goal difference works out. And team-wise for this one then, looking at it, this is the team I played in the last game, and we're going to go with it once again. And I think if we don't win the league this year, and don't win the cup, of course, as we're playing that later on, the back line is looking like the position, or the area of position, where we need to maybe fix things. Goalkeeper, absolutely fine. And while our midfield seems to be really well set, striker-wise, and maybe defensively, that's where we need to fix things. Colasso will be in goal though. Goni, Shelton, Ioannidis, Lucas will be at the back. And it's worth noting, these defenders, they're pretty good. I know it looks as if they're the weaker of the side, but 3-star for me, 2.5, still pretty good. Mahoz and Lejeune will be in the centre. Byrne will play ahead of them. Ludwig one side, Emmanuel the other, with Ortiz up through the middle, playing his first league game for the club. Let's hopefully see him do the business. Of course, we've got a few strikers on offer to us and that are available. I'm trying to get all the other players that aren't fit right now, the fitness required to feature in some of these later games. But it's really a question of, like, Chilameki, is he going to continue to play for us up front? It's been a bit of a situation. Diallo is another one that, like, we play him here and there, but he's not really been performing to the highest of levels. So Ortiz is going to come in. Hopefully performances out of him. That's what we need right now. As, Ruiz on the right-hand side. He's been, actually, the more I look at this, I've just realised my mistake here, isn't it? I rested to players for recent cup games and then kept them in for the league game. And the reality is that Emmanuel should be up front and Ruiz should be on the right. Yeah. You see, viewers, it's been a couple of days since I've played. Forgotten the boys entirely, but good. Hopefully this will refresh my memory. I'll say this, I've just beaten a team 4-1, so I should know what the hell's going on. Emmanuel will be up front then, Ruiz on the right. That's where our goals come from, those 2 boys. So yeah, we need them both in the side, really. Paco Ortiz will get his chance at some stage, I'm sure. Right, so meet the side. Here we go. We're live, viewers. You know, usually I'd probably cut that out and said, mistakes have been made, and everything would have been fine, but no, not today. As they've got, is that Camavinga? Actual Camavinga? It is. A 35-year-old Camavinga plays in their central midfield. Of course, one of the wonder kids from this year's game. The only player, I assume, in both squads, that is a real person. So he'll feature for them. They've got this guy up front as well. And Gobi, he looks really quite good, doesn't he? They had Leonardo Brown. I don't know if he's still here. He doesn't seem to be on the bench. I don't know where he's gone. I think he might have gone to Barcelona, actually, now I think about it. Of course, a player we had at Leipzig. And speaking of Leipzig, as we get this game underway, there's a question actually in regards to that I thought was quite a nice opener for today. Jamie asked on Twitter, team you clicked with in this year's Glory Hunter, and why? Someone also asked a similar question that was a bit like best team, worst team that I've managed within the entire series. And I would say the team I clicked with most, I don't know if this is what the answer you'll think of actually, was Leipzig. I feel like at Leipzig, I had a really nice set of players and everything just worked. We had a system that was really good. I really like Victor Hugo and Kleber and a few of the other boys. Of course, we had shouted in that side as well. And I just really enjoyed that system. Like, we were just, every single player in it just did a really good job at playing the roles that I needed them to play. And I feel a little bit like that actually with Marseille. I feel like we're not too far away. And if we'd have had Marseille and Leipzig the other way around, I feel like if I'd come to Marseille, having maybe failed at Lyon, for example, it would have been very, very similar to this. As I'm just noticing very early in this game, we haven't had a shot yet, which is obviously not great. We should probably change something. Ruiz is having a bit of a shocker as things stand. Usually what I like to do with wingers that aren't playing particularly well is take them off that attack duty, have them a little bit more involved maybe. That might be the way forward as we try and up the tempo, play with a little bit more risk, get them involved. So yeah, probably Leipzig was the team I felt like this is the team that if I had to do like longer with them and I didn't have to leave, I probably wouldn't have left. I would have probably tried to conquer more things. But of course, winning the Champions League early with Inter meant we didn't really have to do that. So it didn't happen like that. The team that I felt probably, and I never mentioned this at the time, but the team I probably felt less connected with or least connected with was the second time we went to Inter. Because we went back into a team that just wasn't mine. Like, some of them were, of course, and some of the players were there. And of course, we took Diego with us from Arsenal, and we made it into our side. We brought lots of Cristiano in and other players. But when I first got there, I thought, this is really actually quite different from what I've had before. Of course, we've been at Dortmund, we've been at Arsenal. As we've got a free kick here, put in. Oh, that would have been a good time to score. It felt really weird to be there. Whereas every other team just felt like natural steps. Whereas Inter was like, okay, we've done everything in Arsenal. We've got to go. We've got to move. And going back there and completing it quite quickly was a bit of a joy, really, if I'm honest. But yeah, it was really fun. The time here has ticked away so quickly. It took me a single highlight, and because I've been talking, I've basically missed everything. Ortiz is going to come on. There's 2 minutes left. I mean, a point away at Lyon, actually. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, it's dull and nothing's happened, and it makes me regret asking for questions now because that game has flown by. Wow, yeah, it happened so quickly. Everyone thought we'd get beaten today. You've proved them wrong. Well, that's going to fire them up. We've got Montpellier next to a relegation candidate right now, so that should be relatively routine. We'll take that. Of course we will. PSG win their game 4-1. The title is getting quite challenging to win. Vafsi have won their games. They're on 49, level on points with us. Identical records. Our goal difference is the only thing separating the two of us right now. Yeah, that was a weird game. That happened really, really quickly. Maybe if with 20 minutes to go, I might have tried to win that. But again, a point against them at their ground, we'll take it. A couple of days before we play Montpellier, I am actually just going to, with that in mind, I'm going to rest all the boys that played. At least we played the system, or the 11 that I actually wanted to play. So they were. I mentioned before, we'll talk about it, so we'll do it now. We didn't spend all of the money in the January period, even though I said earlier in the season that would have been the plan. Because we're in the Europa League, and this is becoming a constant theme currently, because we're in the Europa League, there's not really the opportunity to go out and buy the players that I think make us that stronger. The way things are planning right now, and hopefully it continues, is that we will get into the Champions League. At that point, go and get in those superstar players, Ben, for that final season with Glory Hunter. We are hotting up towards it. So yeah, it should be quite good fun. Diallo wants to know why I've left him out of the Europa League squad. It's because I haven't got any French players, Diallo. So sorry, mate. It's my fault. You're going to be gutted and annoyed about it. I know. I'm sure you will be. But yeah, so the weekend has been quite jam-packed. Of course, there weren't any videos, so on Streamer Showdown weekends, it's quite difficult because we have the draft on the Thursday. On the Friday, I generally tend to stream, talk about the Streamer Showdown, as well as do a video for Glory Hunter. And then that's quite full on as like a 2-day thing. And then we have 2 big days of Streamer Showdown stuff. And as the person that tends to organise it all and get everyone in where they should be. And this time we had, I didn't compete in it. So I was very much in control of all the 9 guys that were involved in it, as well as being on the Lowdown, which is like the Soccer Saturday version of the show for those that are English viewers. It's where we watch the games together. There's 4 panellists as well as a host. And we react to the goals as they go in, as well as sort of analyse and talk about all the things that are happening. It's a really good way to be able to watch everything that's going on, alongside maybe the stream of your choice. We found that we're having sort of 4,000 or 5,000 people watch concurrently across everything. We had some big names in as well. FNG, of course, is a big FIFA guy. Manny, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, and Spencer as well, who have done FIFA bits and football bits over the years. It was really great to have those guys involved amongst a plethora of Football Manager talent, we'll say. I'm going to mention this in the video. Work the Space got 1 point in the league out of 8 games, drew 1, lost 7, and then was knocked out of the elimination game after that as well. So, yeah, terrible outing for him. But he's got some big news this week, so I'm sure that'll perk him up a little bit. Look, it's one of these events that, as I say, it takes a long time to put on, but it's so rewarding to do. So if you have checked it out, thank you for checking it out. I would really want to be able to do some more videos in and around the whole thing. The next one will be in August, like late August, and as you know, Benny Boy's got a baby Benny on the way, or the female version of the name Ben. I don't know what that would be. Benethy? Maybe. I don't know. My sister's called Beth, so I guess that works as well. We'll let the assistant deal with that. So yeah, life's going to get, we've talked about it before now, but life's going to get very different very soon, and yeah, I think I feel as prepared as I can feel without being prepared for it, so that's quite exciting. It's just a big... I've talked about it before, it's just a big change in my life that I'm incredibly excited by and nervous about, but not really nervous, more just a bit apprehensive because I don't really know what to expect with lots of it. But yeah, it's getting closer and closer, so yeah, I can't sit around and think about it too much. I definitely do that. I do that on stream sometimes where I'm sort of sitting there thinking, wow, life is going to be really different soon. And life in the last sort of 3 or 4 months for me has been really good, right? Like, the streaming has been taken off, the YouTube channel's been doing well, and Liverpool won the league, so that's good as well. So it's been great, and this is going to be another really highlight moment, not just of the year, but of my life. And yeah, looking forward to it, man. It should be good. I've got a few other questions here. Lots of questions actually have come in about the process of the way I do things and how I put videos together and what my setup is. I've recently changed it all, of course. There'll be a video on that very, very soon. I'm going to talk about all the stuff I have. If you want to know about equipment and stuff, of course I can go into specifics if you're interested. I've basically built it up over the course of 5 years. A lot of this stuff, some of the stuff I've had for 5 years, some of the stuff is quite new. And yeah, I've decided to sort of invest in my setup. I'm not someone that ever spends, I've said this before, I don't know if I said it on YouTube before, but of all the money I've ever earned on YouTube, I've never spent any of it, which probably sounds really crazy to people that hear that, but yeah, so to people that support on Patreon and things like that, you are a massive factor in allowing me to do this as a full-time pursuit. And you guys that support, of course, subscribing on Twitch, people that donate over there as well, which is amazing. It's a real big help, which has allowed me to save for the future of me and my family for a long time. And don't be mistaken, YouTubers don't make as much as probably people think, but I've managed to save a lot of that for my future, and Ellie's future, and my future child's future, and my family's future as well, right? I want to be able to help and support those people as well at some point. Getting a house is quite hard on the list, things like that. And it takes a long time to build that up. And again, it's taken me 5 years to be in this position. So, yeah, some of those things are getting closer, and that's really exciting to me as well. Montpellier, sorry, I went on a little bit of a life. This is the podcasty episode, viewers. You know what to expect at this point. But on the thing about equipment and the process on editing and things like that, we'll definitely do a video all about that at some point. Maybe a collection of videos. Montpellier coming up then. Lyon, you can see they're 19th in the table, 13 points so far. They've won 2 games. They've beaten 2 sides in and around them as well. So this should be, I say this lightly, should be quite routine. They've got some big draws there, though, in their home games. So we play them at home, so that should be quite good. But they've drawn with Lyon, drawn with Nice, drawn with Monaco. So some decent results in there. But yeah, I've lost the majority of their games this year. And hopefully that happens. Unchanged team. First, we're going to go straight into this one again. And hopefully do the business, viewers. CJ Plays FM asks, what's the biggest change in mindset for this year's FM compared to last year's FM? It's a really interesting question, because obviously last year was pretty awful for me. This year, it's less to do with FM. It's more to do with just my content in general. It's just to do more of things. I know there'll be people going, more? Where's the Newcastle series? And again, it's something that will return when it gets interesting. Still playing through it. Still trying to find that moment right now. But yeah, it's definitely been a case of, especially with this journey as well, playing with the big teams is something that I've done in beta saves, but never done in a whole thing. And what I've realized is, often when I've built up teams to be at a certain level, I've been able to then pick and choose sort of the best players around the world. And because I've in this series, I've never really been at the top sides. I've always had to sort of, again, look for where players have fallen off from those big sides, pick them up, try and or maybe turn players into superstars. Friss at Dortmund was a big example of that, is that when he joined Dortmund, he was sort of a player that had come from the Danish leagues that was pretty good, but without being great. Had a brilliant time at Dortmund, then I think went to Real Madrid in the save. So, yeah, it's had a really brilliant time. As early on here, we might score a goal, and we do. Ruiz with it. 16th of the season. I thought he scored more than that, but yeah, 16th this season, assist by Lucas. We take a lead, of course. Still trying to hunt down PSG, who we play next. We're definitely going to have to try and remember to rest players in the second half, because the game against PSG is absolutely pivotal to our season. If we beat PSG in the Cup, we've got a real good chance. I don't think I mentioned this actually, but from the Monaco and Lyon game, of course, they were playing in the Cup. They... I think Monaco, I don't know, one of them won it, played PSG, lost. So they are now out. So it's really whoever wins out of me and PSG is going to be, on paper, a big favourite to win the French Cup. So actually, the later game today is a biggie, as what's going on here? Goalkeeper has come to claim it. Shoot from there, Lucas Adey. I didn't, never mind. Ludwig's on it, though. As the ball forward to Emmanuel's very, very good. He takes his time, shoots, doesn't go in. Someone asked a good question. Hayden said, saves you would like to do, but won't translate well to YouTube. And I think the sad reality is and you see people will do them and people are successful with them, but most saves outside of Europe tend to be quite challenging and quite difficult. People don't seem to connect with those saves quite as well. Maybe because the audience is the majority, most of you watching right now, 60-70%, as another goal goes in. Come on, Ruiz. 60-70% of you are from the UK, so you connect better with those UK saves, which leads me into a good question. Actually, someone asked plans for FM21. Thank you for the question. Another Jamie. So many Jamies today. The big save, I think most of you have probably twigged by now, will be Thames, but not necessarily as you know it. I was actually streaming the other day, and someone mentioned the Thames save, and something happened. I can't remember what it was now. Something happened, and I thought, that's what I'm going to do with Thames next year. So I now know what the plan is. Well, not completely, but got a very good idea now of what we're going to do with Thames. As this is a lovely move from Montpellier. Wow, brilliant save from Kalasa there. Amazing. So yeah, it will be Thames-based. For those that don't know what Thames is, and you're going, brilliant, what's that? I did a save with a team that I created called Thames, based in London, not far from London City Airport. And we built them up to be good without being great, actually, I dare say. The series didn't end tremendously. Feel free to watch it. You'll see what I mean, as Ludwig's injury now makes me think I should have brought in a left winger, but Chouamecki's done really brilliantly when he's come in, so that's not a problem for me. 26 minutes gone, though. It feels like we've been playing this game forever. So, yeah, Thames will be the main series. Beta save-wise, there's definitely a team that I think is arguably one of the more interesting. So that I think we're going to probably do for the beta. You know it's going to be a big side and more likely from England. So yeah, you can probably figure out between a few who it's going to be. I've done it before, so I think I might do it again because I really enjoyed doing it previously. I won't mention that yet though. Times can change. As Emmanuel, he should have shot. Come on, mate. As they clear it away, that would have been a goal, surely. Other plans, there's definitely options to collect. Like what the Streamer Showdown has actually done is it's enabled lots of different creators. As Mahoz there has got a brilliant goal. Goodness me, 8th of the season for him. He's been a revelation in this side. Selling Damas at the start of the season now feels like such a good move because of how much we could stimulate the rest of the side, and he's been a pivotal part. He was in fact the replacement for Damas, really, and he's been so good. Emmanuel lays it off to him. Great play from him, and that's a beautiful goal. Better finish than I even realised. The plans moving forward, definitely to work with other creators, and doing the Streamer Showdown has allowed me to do that more and more. I've already done a couple of videos with Zealand here and there. Of course, me and Jack have done lots of things, worked the space, have done stuff together a lot. And there's definitely scope for us to do more and more of that. Definitely more collaborative projects. Of course, we've had some guys involved. I've done lots of stuff with James Alcott recently. I'd love to do some stuff with Manny and Spencer at some point if they've got the time and the opportunity to do so. As well as other guys that I know play FM outside of the general Football Manager community. I definitely want to bring more and more people together playing the game, having some fun with it, and whether that be with their own saves or my saves, or we do more collaborative things to say like the Streamer Showdown. All of those things can be brilliant. 4-0 viewers, by the way, 24 shots in this half. We are brilliant. This is the sort of performance I like to bring you. This is sensational. As PSG, I don't know if they play later this weekend, but they're kind of struggling. This is midweeker? It might be a midweeker. So yeah, that there are a lot of the plans for the future. Of course, I don't know how having a baby is going to interfere with all of this. Probably a little bit, but people often have babies, and one member of the family, usually the mother looks after the child because they want the mother for the first period. Usually the bloke in that circumstance, the bloke, such a bloke, viewers. I know you look at me, don't you, and think, oh, what a mighty man. Still goes to work, and that's going to be really I'm very fortunate that I work from home, so I get the opportunity to do family, dad-related stuff, as well as be a part of your lives as well, as that's gone in doing videos every day. So that's still good. They've scored. Is the comeback on? I flipping hope not, viewers. I'll say that much now. There's got a few other questions here. Someone asked what my Glory Hunter 11 will be. We'll do that at the end of the series. Absolutely going to do that video. Probably my Glory Hunter squad it'll end up being. But yeah, my 11. I'll start to think about it. There's definitely some players that I think you already know are very much in there. But there'll be some players that maybe aren't as obvious that we can definitely cover at some point. As, yes, they're definitely on side. Yeah, the yellow line is... our defensive line. Is there going to be another goal? We've got a free kick. This first half, by the way, has gone on for an age, viewers. Burns on it, whipped in. It's hit the post or the bar. I think it hit the bar eventually. The keeper tips it onto it. Yeah, wild, viewers. Someone asked for a little teaser about Thames. It won't be the same as it was last time, and that's all I can say. Which is a teaser in itself because it started in tier 10 last time and built its way up. What it's going to be this time will be different. That's all I'm going to say. Someone's asked who the most iconic player was from this series, who's going to live on. It's between two. It's between Diego, and I love the Diego shirts, by the way. Still wear those pretty regularly. And, of course, the main man who plays at the back for me, Shelton. Can't appear today because I can't edit it, so he won't be featuring. Where's Editor Ben? Lots of people ask as well. He's just on a break at the moment, social distancing. He can't be sat in the same chair as me as often as he'd like to be, so just the rules, viewers. Just the rules. I don't enforce them. I do enforce them. I don't make them. I just enforce them. That's the way it goes. Looking through some of the other questions that have come through. Again, quite a few questions about workflow and organisation and how I do everything, so we'll definitely cover that at some point. It seems to be a video lots of people are interested in, so absolutely. Joe asked, what's the big aims for the channel? Gaming career? It's a really great, quite a big question. But as we're winning 4-1, I feel like I've got more opportunity to talk about it. In terms of the channel, I'll make no secret of it. I would absolutely love to get to 100,000 subscribers. My start to FM this year wasn't great in terms of growth. I've really enjoyed making videos this year, and I definitely feel like I'm back in a really good flow of how I'm doing everything. I definitely feel like I'm doing good videos, which is always important. But at the point in which FM released last year, it took me 3 days to upload a video, which meant some of the other guys that do content definitely had a bit of a jump on me, which is credit to them, right? They've done a really good job. I'm not bitter about that at all. It's just the reality of the way that growth happens sometimes. And some of the series have done really well, and that's something that maybe I could do more of, and I guess collaborating with other people will be a factor in that, as we make it 5-1. Fantastic news. So getting to 100,000 is definitely a target, but why stop there, man? I'd love to get to 1 million subscribers. Of course I would. Why not? I'd love to get to the highest point possible. When I started, people said, you'll never get to 20,000. Then when I got there, people go, yeah, 50k is never happening. And then we sit in now at 80,000, and it's pretty sick. So, who knows where we could end up, right? Zealand has shown recently that growth in FM is still very much there. It's still very much apparent. And if you're doing videos that people engage with and are excited by, then it will always happen for you. And I think that should be a note to anyone thinking of doing this as maybe not necessarily a career, but certainly a hobby, that if you want to do it and it can grow and it can be really good, then it's possible, which is lovely. Sam Hartles on Twitter said, what's your biggest regret of the save, whether it be a player you missed out on or a club you wish you'd managed? I do wonder sometimes that when I went to Dortmund after I resigned from Inter, if instead I'd gone to Schalke, and how different things had been, because Schalke's youth prospects at that point were far better than I realised. They're a far better team than I realised. As I'm just going to make a couple of changes. Ruiz is going to come off for Ortiz. Lejun's going to come out for Akiza. As I mentioned, I was going to keep things a little bit fresher in the centre. Everyone's playing quite well, though, so I don't really know what to do. Burn, I guess, is the other option. I can't bring on another option, Ben, because you've made all the substitutions, because Ludwig got injured. I forgot about that. Flipping heck. Ortiz has come on and got injured immediately as well, which is great news. But yeah, not going to Schalke, that might have made things a little easier. But I'm only saying that because Dortmund was a bit of a bottle job. But yeah, I think going to Schalke would have meant things would have been different. How different, I don't know. Obviously, they did pretty well. I think they won the league in my first year at Dortmund. So, yeah, maybe that one. Again, I don't really regret it, because the Dortmund adventure made the Leipzig success quite exciting, didn't it? So, it happens. Whatever. Players I wish I'd signed, there's not too many. A lot of the players I've gone for and wanted I've got. I'm disappointed I've not had Diego again since I've been at Inter, because obviously we've been around a little bit and we've not had him back. But of course, there's one final season. If I can I'll do everything, mate. I'm going to try everything to get him back. So if I don't end up getting him back, that will absolutely be a regret for me. As Lucas hits the post, Ortiz with a good save, Green with a good save. As the time's ticking away here. But it's been a really fun adventure, man. This has been a save that when I thought of it, I knew it was going to be a good idea, but then obviously making it into a series that people like and watch and enjoy is always a bit more of a challenge. And this has been, it's been so much fun. And I love the fact I've got one more year. The World Cup is looking not great, by the way, viewers. Of course, it happens in about 3-4 months. Yeah, in the save, I don't have a job at an international team, so I think the World Cup and the European Championships, that will be a failure in terms of the way that that's gone down. But everything else has gone so far to plan. Big game coming up in a minute, so we'll see if the French Cup's on the cards as they go forward in Montpellier. But it's not enough. We've dominated this game, blimey. It's the perfect game to have pre-PSG, I will say that much. As it's cleared away, 30 seconds to go, and he's been pulled down there. Emmanuel Leroux might even be sent off. I don't know if they consider him last man there. This defender here, Sanchez, was probably going to get across and cover. I'm just going to look across at some of these. Someone's asked, Hayden asked about saves that I'd love to do but won't translate well to YouTube. I feel like I started answering that and then didn't answer it. Saves, we talked about, obviously, the UK. Doing stuff in like South America and Australia and Asia, they're all saves that I think are quite interesting, but again, they just don't connect as well with people. So ordinarily, I've not done them, and there'll definitely be some of you out there that will think, I'd love to watch that, but then the majority of people wouldn't, and I think sort of making videos for the majority of people, as well as yourself, is quite important. So while I would enjoy them, it's not something that I plan on doing at the moment. I will say one save idea that I wanted to do for ages is build teams up in Scandinavia and make Scandinavia as powerful as sort of the regular top 5. And the plan for my stream save next year is probably to do a glory hunter in and around the Scandinavian countries, plus a couple of others to make it interesting. Maybe we include Holland in that as well, so or the Netherlands in that as well. So definitely a plan for maybe the future in the stream save next year will be similar to that. So exciting, lots going on. Just taking a look at a few other questions. Loads of questions came in. Thank you if you did post one to me on Twitter. Any advice to others attempting glory hunter? What mistakes do you feel you've made? I mean, conquer international management by actually focusing on it more. Maybe that would be one of my big tips. But I think waiting for the right club is the best advice I can give. There is definitely opportunities for me to move to lesser teams, and I didn't take them because I felt like waiting for the bigger sides was probably my best bet. Don't rotate. And I know that's funny because lots of people watch these videos and they say, you don't rotate. Why don't you rotate? I will say that I've won lots of things not rotating. Sure, it might have cost me here or there, but generally speaking, build a squad of 14 at clubs, and that's sort of what we've done here as well. You can look at the players who've got fitness. That's quite a good example, actually, of the way that we do it. And then use those 14 or maybe 15 players on a pretty regular basis. Don't worry about the outside players of that necessarily. Don't worry about trying to rotate all the time. You're trying to win things, so building up squads and teams is nice. And if you've got a free season where you're not expected to win anything, of course rotate in those seasons. But seasons in which you're going for something, try and have a set 11. And if that bites you at the end of the season when players start to get injured, Ludwig, shout out to you, who's out for 5 weeks now, then so be it. But generally what I've found is that having a consistent lineup in Football Manager, especially this year, has been a really key part of being successful on Football Manager, whether that be in this save or in my stream saves as well with Boston. That's definitely been something that I would pass on to everyone else. I think if you're building up projects and you're, you've got a really good squad where it doesn't make it considerably weaker to rotate, then of course you should. These saves, because I've not, again, been at these top teams, I've not really had the opportunity to do that. I've always been at the side that is slightly worse than the top sides. You look at PSG as the example, right? They've probably got the options to rotate quite often. We just don't really have that at Marseille. You look at the players outside of the 11, it's not that good, really. Hafini's probably the only one, right, who's unlucky because he's actually a really solid, well-rounded midfielder that could have maybe played right back or centre back for me this season. But because our midfield's actually quite strong and it's got all the assets that I want within it, he's the only player that probably sees himself as unfortunate that he's not played plenty more. But it happens, viewers. It's Football Manager. These things do go on. Looking through the other questions, a lot of the questions actually are quite similar. So I think we've answered most of them. If I didn't answer your question, I can only apologise now. There's one more question we'll talk about. Why not? We've got a little bit of time, which comes from Robbie. It's about how far do you think the FM community can go in the coming years, and how much do you think that depends on the development of the game itself? A couple of people like that question, so good question, Robbie. Well, I've got a theory. Whether the theory comes true, maybe me talking about the theory prevents the theory, so hopefully not. But I think, similar to lots of games, that if Football Manager, and I've talked about this a few times, if Football Manager goes towards a slightly more online competitive way of playing. And that doesn't mean you have to take away from what the single-player game is. I think it's brilliant. I think there's a few issues with it, but generally speaking, I think people love the single-player game, and that's never going to change. I think moving into the competitive, playing against your friends area could see the game explode. Because what happens with games generally is that the reason that games get more popular on YouTube and on other places and Twitch and things like that is because people discover, I want to be better than my friend who maybe doesn't have the advantage of watching these videos. And as a result, everything goes because... And a great example, look at what Zealand's doing right now. A lot of Zealand's videos are about how to get better at Football Manager. And people are thinking, yeah, I want to get better at Football Manager. Now, if you add a competitive element into that, it's only going to expand and improve and get even bigger. So that's how I think the community could evolve, in that tactically it won't just be a case of how you're beating the computer, which is what it's based on now. Everything you see written, guides, etc., try and find guides about how to beat people online. You're not going to find very many because the formula for that still hasn't been worked out. And it's something I don't think a lot of people are even thinking about. But I'm thinking about it because I think that's maybe the potential for where things go at some point in the future. I don't think we're even close yet, I've got to say. I think it could be a few years. But if it does happen, that could be really exciting. And I definitely think things like the Streamer Showdown help with that. I think Football Manager notice it and acknowledge it. Whether it has any impact with what they do in the future, I have no idea, and I don't have to make that decision. So, if anything, fortunately, good luck, Miles, and everyone else at SI. It's up to you. You decide what goes on with your game. Let's see here, though, what happens with the draw. As well, we could play VAFC if we get past PSG, and that, of course, then is going to be the goal here. I really, really, really want and need to beat them. So let's see if we can do the business. Generally for the Football Manager community, though, weirdly on YouTube, it hasn't grown so much. I think people look at YouTube and think, well, that is a tough nut to crack. It's harder to grow on. The Twitch community has doubled since lockdown. So, hopefully that continues and people continue to stream it. New people think about streaming it. People from other games decide, I'm going to have a quick Football Manager save. Maybe I'll do a year, maybe I'll do 5 years, etc. So, hopefully that all continues. That's the hope and dream for it. This is a long video today, viewers. One of my longest ever. Maybe the longest Glory Hunter video outside of the live streams. Byrne's got a knock, which isn't ideal. Akiza could come in, and Ludwig's going to have to step out, and Chukwuemeka is going to have to come in as well. So 2 relatively big injuries for me. That's not great, but hopefully we're going to be fine with them anyway. I guess you can go on the bench. Team-wise, you can see, because we use this squad of 14, the players that I'm bringing in actually are no worse than the players. I say no worse, but sort of based on fitness, they're absolutely fine, so we should be fine. Kolasa in goal. Goni, Shelton, Ioannidis, Lucas Lejeune, that's the key right there. These 2 boys, if we get performances out of Akiza as well, we're going to be laughing. Ruiz one side, Chukwuemeka on the other side, and Manuel up top through the middle. He's quite a sporadic striker. He's definitely not got the goal scoring record that he's had previously in Portugal, but it's his first year. Maybe next year will be his year. I've played him on the right a couple of times as well, so maybe that's a factor. But him and Ruiz so far, 17 goals apiece this season. Let's see then. PSG, it's a big game. French Cup action. My voice has got louder, viewers, because I've realised now this 4-4-2 must be beaten. Joaquin Parra sits right in the centre of this team. A few other players that I'm actually not familiar with. PSG's side has changed quite a lot recently. Montiel up front is a pretty good, but actually suffering with a little bit of an injury. Ramek alongside him doesn't actually look all that good. Wow, this might be a game there for the taking. I don't know if PSG are resting players. There's definitely players that I'm familiar with, but the more I look through this side, the more I think we should maybe be beating them and doing the business. Have they got a few injuries? Yeah, Cristiano's injured. They've got quite a few players actually out right now. So you can see we've just had them scouted. There's a few players there that, of course, are very good. This guy here looks... right-sided player, looks very, very dangerous, very pacey, very good at delivering the ball into the centre, so someone to look out for. But I'm going to give us the underdog treatment. I'm going to act as if this is a tough game and we have to be at our best to try and win it, and we can upset the odds if we do win it, as we'll send our assistant off to do that tunnel interview. As the game gets underway then, we're at home for this one too. That gives us even much of a bigger chance. The Stade Orange Velodrome is where we're playing. I tried to give that a bit of pizzazz, viewers. Did it work? I feel like it didn't. It may have done, but maybe not. The ball played forward. Mohoz now on it as he's racing forward. He goes through a couple of players. Emmanuel's there. Big chance for us early. I mean, blimey, it's cleared away. Again, playing this 4-4-2, back two here of Shelton and NVidia are going to have a big job to do to prevent the PSG attack. But so far, if it's going to be like that, we're going to be absolutely fine. There should be areas for Akiza to float in and around in if we can isolate their midfielders. You can see like Akiza there, sort of, it's floating in that area, cuts out the ball there as well, does brilliantly. As the tempo of this game is much higher than previous ones, and Akiza's found some space and... Oh, that would have been a good time to score. Never mind. Still 0-0. It goes for a corner, so I'm not expecting too much here. But, yeah, Akiza, he's going to be the key here. Because of the 4-4-2, he should have so much more space than anybody else to manoeuvre into. So we're going to have to keep a strong eye on him, see if he can be the man to make all of the differences, viewers, as it goes out to that left-hand side, I should say. Chlemeki is on it, finds Lucas, finds Lejeune. They're taking their time, viewers. Just making sure that we're still in sync, because sometimes that happens. Lejeune on it again. Chlemeki, where's he going to go with it? He cuts back inside. He's on the edge of the box. It lays off to Akiza, or tackled into Akiza. Lucas on it now. Options in the centre. Pull back to Ruiz. Oh, it's such a big chance. I think he's hit the crossbar, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Really good start, though. I'm going to demand even more from the boys, if possible. Blimey. What a start to the half so far. As Tremeki's in again, options to his inside. Emmanuel's there, front post, and it's 1-0. And after 21 minutes, the Marseille boys are doing the business. Now, I'm getting closely into sneeze, viewers, which, if I leave in the video, is that bad? Oh, I'm going to have to do it. Sorry, viewers. It's a podcasty episode. Sometimes you've got to sneeze, but normally I sneeze twice. Oh, God. Expect another sneeze shortly, viewers. I'll see if I can hold on till the end of the game. But yeah, 1-0 up. Emmanuel with the goal. It's not quite the same as playing the harmonica, but every time Emmanuel scores now, I feel like I should sneeze. No one even said, bless you, you swines. Unless you did, then thank you. Corner, played in. Ruiz again. Oh, yes! Come on! Front post! That's what we're talking about. Marseille 2, Paris Saint-Germain 0. And so far, the podcasty episode is going tremendously well, viewers. So I look at myself there when I look up there. What a goal from Ruiz. 2-0. PSG now. They've got an almighty mountain, I'm going to describe it as, to climb as the ball played in again. 3 before half-time. We can't throw it from here, surely not. Ruiz on it again. Goodness, viewers, we're 3-0 up. After 32 minutes, PSG are taking a beating. Why aren't we top of the league table? Goodness me. Marseille 3, Paris Saint-Germain 0. I'm sure I didn't actually check what their result was in the league recently. They're chasing us all over the place. They can't get near us system-wise. It matches up pretty well, but goodness me, Ruiz, what a goal that is. 19th of the season for him now. 4 goals in today's episode, as that was quite sensational. As the time is ticking away then, 40 minutes gone, we get towards half-time, 10 minutes, 3 goals. That's what we're talking about. PSG, surely there's no way back for them. Surely, I mean, really, I'm sitting here thinking now, not changing anything is probably the way forward. They're not going to get 3 goals, are they? Of course, if they get the first one, I'll be a little bit nervous. I said Akiza would be the key man, by the way, 6.7 so far, doing absolutely nothing. As Kalasa... Ball played for, not great, as they're in now. Big chance for them. The first big chance, Kalasa does well, though. He's been so good since coming in. Really, really great goalkeeper. Definitely worth getting rid of Mimi to bring him in. One of my smarter moves, I feel like. As the midfield so far, absolutely running things. Everyone, you can see 7s across the board. If there's to be another goal in this game, it has to be us, surely. Ruiz on for the hat-trick, of course. He scored another amazing goal. Artur Ruiz is a little bit of an under-the-radar player for this side, but actually... not anymore. Like, I brought him in last year to be probably the backup to Santos, if you remember. And now he's got the starting berth and he's been unreal. What a finish that is. Good God. 63 minutes gone. 4-0 up against PSG. And you would expect now, I mean, I know what's happening. We are the big favourites for the Cup. And while I think the league is maybe out of sight. Look, this could send PSG spiralling. Who knows? Well, I think the league might be out of sight, though. The Cup is there for the taking. We probably play Vafsi, who are going to be tough. And, of course, the semi-final and the final, they're going to be probably the next 2 episodes of this series. They're definitely episodes we need to focus on. I hope you enjoyed the podcast episode as the game has just gone, viewers. No more highlights after that goal. 4-0. Absolutely brilliant. And the best thing is you've got to see all of this today. Pretty good. 0 against Lyon. Montpellier was a good win. And then an emphatic 4-0 win there as well. We'll send our assistants off to do that. Why not? You can see there in the league. PSG won their game, I assume. They played later in the day, did they? 1-0 over Guingamp. So 7 points here. The league's looking like it's going to be pretty tough. But you look at the Rest of the fixtures, we've got some interesting games. We played PSG final game of the season, so if everything tightens up, you never know. Next episode, though, of course, it's going to be that semi-final against either Vafsi or Dijon Mustard. It could be a Dijon double, viewers. Who knows? We'll focus less on the Europa League games, of course, as we've got some big games towards the back end of the season. Vafsi in there as well. Might be a key one. If you enjoyed this, though, viewers, please drop a like on it. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. We love with care. For it's been just on next time. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening. Bye.